subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss an update. Hello everyone! Today on Lady Mary Bath, I'm inviting you into my home for holiday wishes and a look at some recent resale finds restyled. Join me. Welcome and happy holidays! I could not let this year end without a brief chat and quick look at some of the recent thrifted finds that I have featured on the channel. Many of these are part of our holiday decor and tabletop. Let me show you some of my favorites. I'm delighted to invite you into our dining room so that you can see our holiday table featuring resale items. Everything you see here is from the secondary market. And a familiar Lenox Holiday pattern. It is a classic, and I've admired this since I was a child. I'm pleased to have acquired it several years ago at my favorite charity resale shops. The serving pieces were also quite affordable, and you will see some familiar Waterford crystal and a very unique use for the footed compotes. Of course, I have to add a touch of Chinoiserie with these trees. And the centerpiece is an interesting mix because it incorporates a charity resale, Goodwill, consignment store, and estate sales. If you followed me on the channel, you probably recognize each and every piece here. Those shatterproof faceted ornaments are from Goodwill. And the silk florals are from an estate sale. Hill Williams Company featured a 3-day sale, and I took you along each day. And there's my Gorham Strasbourg sterling pattern. I especially like the oval serving dishes. You may recognize some of the elements of the table from a recent segment where we shopped the Charity Guild and created a Christmas table with all the wonderful finds that they had in the store. This cut crystal compote was definitely an integral part of that table, and I have it on a Lenox Holiday cake plate from the Bluebird Circle. And nestled inside is an emerald cut-to-clear rose bowl from Still Good Consignment. I can't imagine paying retail for all of these different elements of the table. It is nice to find things affordably. And I also move things around. Here you see that Lenox Holiday cake plate. If I needed it for serving dessert, I would simply pull it out from underneath our centerpiece. Those candle holders are from Bluebird Circle, and a familiar silver cup. We had fun shopping the clearance shelf at Charity Guild as we set that holiday table, and we found a couple of silver-plated goblets that were on clearance. These were only a couple of dollars, and they have that wonderful hallmark on bottom with lots of information. The Jamestown pattern made by Reed and Barton. Inside, I have placed an ornament that's been handmade by the ladies of our church. I just couldn't pass up that deal. And of course, you could certainly use it for serving dinner for two. You can be very flexible with these finds. It's nice to have something that's a bit whimsical and unexpected on the table. And always look for that hallmark. Finding a hidden gem is the best part of the hunt. Catholic Charity Guild had this Waterford crystal martini pitcher. This is the perfect tabletop essential. I've embellished it with 2 different ribbon colors, some gold berry picks, and this will be a wonderful addition to our holiday table, and we'll always have it close at hand for serving. It's fun to dress up a pitcher, especially when it's a holiday or a special celebration. Just adds a bit more interest to your table. And of course, it could be used in a myriad of ways, including as a vase. As you've seen on the channel, pitcher perfect. And now let's take a closer look at our place setting. with a napkin that you may remember. Ties in very well with the red berries on the Lenox Holiday pattern. And you'll see that even the gift wrap coordinates well. We've got different shades of green, which I think also adds some interest and depth of color, with the holly on the plate, the napkin, and the ribbon. The place setting is the perfect spot for a holiday gift or table favor. This is a nice surprise. We'll be waiting for our family members, and I've nestled it here inside of our appetizer dish. I'll tell you more about that. It is nice to be able to move things around. As I always say, shop your home and pull things out that you may not use in a conventional sense and find a new purpose for it. And that's what I've done with these compotes, and I will give you some ideas on what I'm serving for an appetizer. And one thing that a friend mentioned is this would be perfect for a scoop of chicken salad with some crackers for a ladies' luncheon. Love that idea. I like to use pieces in my collection. They're not just for display. I pulled together some Waterford crystal compotes to use as an appetizer dish. This is the Waterford Crystal Colleen footed compote. Look at those beautiful cuts. Thrifted, of course. This would be great for strawberries Romanoff with brunch, soup, or salad. And of course, it's also the perfect spot to showcase our table favor. Serving pieces are often more expensive than a place setting. And when you shop resale, you can acquire things affordably and expand your tabletop collection. And I do enjoy my holiday patterns longer than you would think. This year I had my home set in early November since I was headed to Germany mid-November, and I wanted to be able to come back home and have everything set. And since I traveled alone, I wanted my family to be able to enjoy Christmas as well. I just love these bowls. Bluebird Circle had some incredible deals on Lenox Holiday. I was able to find this when they opened the Christmas shop. You may or may not have seen it in the video because things were moving so quickly. This two-tiered server could be used as a decorative element and of course for tea time, serving any kind of desserts. They also had some bowls, and you can never have too many bowls. This is an all-purpose round vegetable. You could even use that as a centerpiece or turn it upside down, and it could be sort of a riser in the center of your table or even on a side table. This reticulated bowl was also $10. That's an incredible deal for Lenox Holiday. And the oval bowls that I have featured here on the table were also $10 each at the Bluebird Circle, and I found these online for $80. Some of you have inquired about the Bluebird Circle's holiday launch. It's usually the first Saturday in November, and you can definitely follow them on social media so that you have that on your calendar for next year. The oval shape is one of my favorites. As you can see, this bowl fits nicely between two place settings. Another touch of chinoiserie and some new finds that I'm delighted to share with you. And I'm carrying out that tartan plaid with our bows. And it blends nicely with the tartan plaid, table runner, and tablecloth. Those are from Lenox. It's nice to dress up the dining server. And you'll see the touches of gold, which adds lots of warmth for this season. And this is, believe it or not, also a type of chinoiserie. And here's an overview of our server. I have simplified it this year. Some new resale additions here on the dining server. During the dish hunt segment last January, you probably saw me find these Waterford crystal buffet lamps. Pleased to have these, and you know, Waterford no longer has a lightingware division. Also at Still Good Consignment, I found a pair of brass hurricanes with a touch of chinoiserie with the Chinese dolphins. And also these topiaries I found a couple of years ago at Still Good Consignment, and they are like soldiers. They anchor the dining server. And I will tell you about this centerpiece bowl. A stunning centerpiece. This could go in so many rooms of my home, and I'm pleased to feature it here for the holiday setting. Inside, I have nestled some ornaments and a brass Christmas star that is 3D. That I found at Target a couple of years ago, and I placed it on top of a wreath garland on a Chinoiserie pedestal.
This centerpiece bowl is fit for a king. It was designed in 1994 by John Connolly and was part of the Waterford Crystal Designers Gallery collection. It was later relaunched by the House of Waterford, sold on QVC for $1,300. I paid $95 at goodwillfinds.com.
It's not often that you find a Waterford Crystal Designers Gallery piece for under $100. That was definitely my lucky day. And it's especially nice because it's a piece that I'd always wanted to add to my collection since I worked for Waterford in the 1990s. And now I can feature this in many areas of my home. And it's extra special for the holidays.
This bowl is a true masterpiece, and it features diamond, olive, and wedge cuts with a Georgian style. This is a stunning centerpiece bowl. I placed it on a Chinoiserie pedestal that I found at Spring Antique Mall, and I placed ornaments inside and anchored it with a Christmas star.
Here's a look at a tabletop tree that we have in the dining room that's featured on an antique table that I found at a garage sale. I took you along for that one too. And that base you probably recognize from the Ma'am resale. That was a Spode blue room piece from their archives. Got some cross-stitch ornaments from the ladies of our church, and also Spode. The teapot is one of my favorites. And now I will invite you into our entryway. Meet me under the mistletoe. Lots to show you here. And I've revamped everything. It's nothing that I've used in the past. And that was another Ma'am find. The table runner I found in Heidelberg on my recent visit. And I've added some brass elements, and you'll see everything coordinates very well together with a theme. And that hurricane is from Bluebird Circle. It is the Waterford Pompeii. And I found that just a couple of weeks ago.
The mid-century brass bookends got lots of comments in a recent segment. These I found at Ma'am Resale, and they do go for a lot more on the secondary market. I've styled them on the entry table with beaded garland from Pottery Barn that I found at Charity Guild. I also featured this in the Christmas table setting.
And that Pompeii hurricane was really a great deal for $50. It's in perfect condition. I would like to have a pair, but I'm realizing that just having a single one actually is quite impactful, especially on my entry table. It's always nice to change it up, and I'm pleased to add some different elements, a bit more casual this year, with the deer. Of course, it was perfect to find that table runner in Heidelberg at Kette Wohlfahrt. And the Santa I also found at Bluebird Circle. And here are some more silk florals from the 3-day Hill Williams estate sale that I featured on the channel. It's nice to be able to shop my storage bins instead of having to drive to the craft store every time I need to create an arrangement. And this vase I found recently at Bluebird. It's very special. It is brass from the John Richard collection, made in India, and I've seen candlesticks sold for several $100s, and this was $45. And my new friend here, I'll give you a close look, a very popular resale item that had heads turning.
Oh dear. I've had lots of questions on this little guy since I featured him in the Ma'am Holiday store reset. It's from Melissa and Doug. He was $20. The tartan scarf is also from the store that day, And these bells are actually a door hanger, and I found these at a local drugstore. He was in my cart as I was shopping Ma'am Resale, and I had lots of folks interested in him, and some even wanted a photo op.
The metallic tree is featured in a Chinoiserie pot. This works very well for smaller Christmas trees. We usually feature this next to our grandfather clock in the living room. You probably remember that from our holiday home tour. But this year I wanted to bring it a little bit closer to the deer since we are carrying out that theme, and it works quite nicely. And you'll see I've used some of those picks. I've had a lot of questions on those as well, and that's one way to create a designer look. Of course, we had to add some crowns as well, and a special needlepoint from a lady of our church. And of course the star, and that is also from a resale shop. And you don't have to always go big to have a special tree.
I want to share with you some things to expect next year on the channel. There's a big project that I'm working on that I will launch by the spring, and I will share more details as we get closer. And we will pause for just a bit between the years and into the new year, and we'll come back to you with a German consignment store in the snow. Can't wait to share that with you. And lots more fun thrift adventures await. We'll see you in early January.
The teacup cabinet also gets a Christmas makeover with a cross-stitch wall art. That is from Shop Goodwill. Waterford crystal trees, Orifers, Costa Baccarat, angels. And I have quite a few teacups. It's always fun to pull these out too for events. We do use them. And I will show you a very special spoon that I found at Still Good Consignment. It is sterling silver from 1907. And it is a Christmas spoon. Isn't that special? Hand engraved. I just love this. And this was under $20. It was a great find. Limoges boxes, that's something that I've featured on the channel as well and shared with you some of the history and how all of this came about, how they became popular in the original use. I invite you to take a look at that segment. And I have acquired a few more to add to my collection. It's a lot of fun. Some of these recently I found at Rummel Creek Antiques and Still Good Consignments. The snowman was a fun addition. Here's a very traditional look, and I will show you the back stamp. You always want to look for that, peint main, which means hand painted. And these are made in Limoges, France.
Limoges boxes are a great collectible. They are portable and such fun, and it can represent a season or something that you enjoy. I find these at thrift stores and antique shops. Remember to always turn it over and look for peint main, which means hand painted. I enjoy hearing from you on your recent Limoges box finds on our Facebook group page, Lady Mary Beth's Table. If you're not already a member, I encourage you to join us there. Look in the video description for a link.
The nesting Santas are fun, and here is Santa's boot. This is a more serious box and lots of fun. One of the first Christmas themed ones that I acquired. And there's the Waterford Santa from Bluebird Circle. Such fun. And the tray I found at a flea market in Saarlouis, Germany. And now let's take a look at our breakfast room whimsical tree, one of my favorites. The multicolored lights take me back to childhood. And I just love all of the different elements here. It's such fun. A familiar Santa and his reindeer, you probably remember from the Charity Guild. And some fun ornaments. We definitely don't take things too seriously in the breakfast room. I was just at Harrods a couple of weeks ago. This one is dated from the 90s that I found at Charity Guild. This is from an estate sale at a home where my friend Kathleen now lives. How about that? I got to shop that sale and see her future home. The cross-stitch ones are especially nice.
Our breakfast room tree is my favorite. It's full of handmade ornaments from the ladies of our church. I've also added a few from resale shops and a recent trip to London. This I found at Liberty of London. And some fun things here. I will show you some of the ornaments as well as my Anna Lee collection.
The crafters at our church create a new mouse ornament each year, 52 years and counting now. And it's fun to see what they come up with next, all the different designs. It's lots of fun. And I like the full look of this tree. It is covered in ornaments, but that's something that, again, takes me back to childhood. And I like all the bright colors, and especially anything that is handmade. You'll notice that vintage ornaments do go for quite a lot in resale stores. And the tree skirt I actually found at Target this year. Kind of carries out that theme. And those fabric trees you probably recognize. The snowman I found at Liberty of London. And these trees are from Charity Guild.
Anna Lee dolls add a festive and whimsical touch to our breakfast room tree. I've placed these along the base, and it adds another dimension and some interesting layers. These I've found at Still Good Consignment and Charity Guild shop, including this Santa with reindeer.
The tea cart holds some essentials, including vintage napkins, the Mariposa box, which I change out the weights for the season, and the Happy Everything line. Lots of fun things that I like to bring out for Christmas. And in a crystal double old fashioned, I have candy canes and just a sprig of something holiday to dress it up, and a small Anna Lee Santa. And the linens I found in Germany years ago. And these also have interchangeable designs for those platters, and I can easily take that from the tea cart to the table.
You may remember this $5 tree from Bluebird Circle. I featured it in the back room before it hit the floor, and when I saw it later in the store, I realized for $5, that's a deal I couldn't pass up. And I featured it on our English Barley Twist tea cart.
The Happy Everything line is made by Cotton Colors, and I've actually found this at Goodwill and at a consignment store, where I've added lots more seasonal touches. And the snowman you'll recognize from the Bluebird Circle. And here are some vintage napkins from Stockyard Antiques in Sealy and some other antique shops.
Thank you for joining me on thrift outings this year. It's been my pleasure to take you along. I would like to ask you to subscribe and continue to like and share videos so that we can grow and go more places together.
The large crystal nativity is made in Germany for Mikasa, most likely made by the Nachtmann factory. And this was from an estate sale, and you could see that the family enjoyed it, and it was time to find a new home for it. And baby Jesus has a place of honor, of course. The ruby cut to clear egg was from a recent Ma'am segment. So many elements that work well together that are all from thrift stores, resale shops. Even the easel that is holding our cross-stitch angel is from Still Good Consignment.
Some recent finds featured on the grand piano at the Bluebird Circle holiday launch. They had this Waterford crystal ruby cut to clear votive. It was brand new in a box. And from Bella's Candles, the hand-poured Fifth Avenue fragrance that reminds of the Plaza Hotel, and the Waterford Crystal Millennium champagne coaster that I found at shopgoodwill.com and brought to them. And for the star of the season, we have baby Jesus nestled in the Waterford Crystal Star Pillar Candle Holder. I think that's absolutely perfect. This was a Bluebird Circle find.
Of course, I could use this as a true pillar candle holder for the new year, but I definitely wanted to elevate baby Jesus, and I thought that was a good way to use that newly acquired piece. And the egg will probably make another debut for Easter. It would pair very well with the blue and white Chinoiserie. And some Waterford crystal pieces here as well. And this Atlanta Hurricane was $16 at Ma'am Resale. I know some of you have actually found the base that you've posted on the Lady Mary Beth's Table page on Facebook. And this is what it looks like as a complete set. It is stunning with a tea light candle. And such a good deal. I think this retailed for maybe $129 back in the early 1990s. That was a real find. And the Overture vase is from High Street Antiques in Dallas. Just love the way the crystal shines on our piano.
So glad you joined me today in our home for a look at some of the recent resale finds that we have incorporated into our holiday decor. I wish you a Merry Christmas and all the best in the new year. Frohe Weihnachten und alles Gute im neuen Jahr. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with thrifted holiday treasures.